Hi, heroes. This is your GMT.
And Anthony.
We know you usually don't have introductions before episodes begin, but we do have a special announcement for you today.
We're launching our Patreon. We're not going to go through all the details, but check patreon.com/moonharborheroes to see all our tiers.
There's some fun stuff happening, some really cool packages.
And as of today, the first episode of a brand new team exclusive to the Patreon.
It's Anthony and I, so check it out because we are delightful.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Thank you all so much for listening to Moon Harbor. And this is the last issue of Blockade. And now,
you turn the page and the cover begins.
welcome back to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Blockade Issue 8, Heroes Arise. On the cover, the silhouettes of the team, including Ryder, Rascal King, Brian, Machina, and Blue Samurai, stand on a rooftop, watching as several Asteron ships burn in the sky over Moon Harbor. Swarms of flaming insects can be seen falling from the inferno above. In the bottom corner, there is a silver embossed logo in bold letters, Blockade. We turn the page and our story begins.
Carl is lying on the floor. All around him, he sees his team in a frantic battle to survive. Friends fighting friends. He decides this is it. This is his moment of truth. Something snaps into focus and suddenly you're a full thing, true and complete. You'd never have known how fragmented you were before, if not for here, this moment. You're not a series of individual lessons. You're not a pile of bugs. You're a person. This must be what it's like to be human. And this fullness, it gives you control over yourself, a unity of purpose you've never experienced before. Of course, now that you're showing off all of your potential, it's only a matter of time before someone comes forward to reduce you to a monster again. Suddenly, the golem spreads out and insects scurry everywhere. Carl makes contact with everyone around him and drags them into the hive. You can see a big dark sphere. Inside are all the heroes and the Asterons controlling half of them. From all around them comes a voice. Not today, not here. It ends. A wall opens up and you can see the queen. Suddenly she sets on fire, and as she does, all the Asterons in the sphere also catch fire and die. As the Asterons die, Carl can suddenly feel the ship. It's alive. The hive mind expands once more and takes control. The ship slowly starts floating to the ground, but then the power becomes too much to handle and the queen explodes. The heroes, free of possession, are yanked out of the hive mind into the real world as they see Carl's physical form catching fire and crumbling into nothing.
Ryder, you see all this happen, and as you come out of the hive mind, you see that your friend is burning. Like, all pieces of Carl are aflame. What do you do?
I am going to see this insanity and, come out of the hive mind, and I want to look around. Do I see Lighthammer? Do I see Faye? What do I see outside of that?
So all of the other heroes are now, like, it looks like they're, blinking back, sleep out of their eyes. So Faye, Lighthammer, Glacier, the whole crew is all starting to, wake up, and they all look kind of confused and shocked and hurt. And I think you and Lighthammer make eye contact. Lighthammer, has a hand on his jaw, and he's like, ow, killer right hook there.
Okay, so Ryder's going to do a zip over to Lighthammer, because he should be pretty close, and grab Lighthammer by the arm, picking them onto their feet. And he's going to say, we need to grab as many of these people and get out of here. I think Carl's about to go Nova.
Lighthammer looks at you and nods and just starts reaching down with both of his hands and grabbing people and pulling them up and being like, okay, run.
I'm actually going to be doing the same thing that Lighthammer's doing, is trying to get people up onto their feet and back into their senses and be like, okay, we've got to go. We got to go now. We got to go now.
Cool. I think I want to jump over to Blue Samurai. You were in the hive mind for a moment. You got pulled out. Now everyone's getting back to their feet as Ryder and Lighthammer start telling everyone to get out of the ship. The ship is going down. What do you do?
Do I know what's happening? Do I understand that the ship's going down?
You were all connected to the hive mind when the ship started to crash. So everyone in the room was aware that I think we just killed the ship that was alive and it is now crashing towards the city.
Okay, well then I'm gonna care for my boy Max. Was Max on the ground or was he standing?
I think
Crazy.
we're back to back and about to punch people.
Okay,
I'm gonna
cool. That
make a slight modification. I'm gonna say that while we're back to back, Squire is standing on like both of our shoulders as well.
Yes.
cool. That actually
we are
works better.
Still in our cell.
Okay, so I'm gonna run up to them, grab both of them by the shoulders, like one hand on each person, and like gesture and like to have them follow me. And then I'm gonna try and run towards the what I assume is the exit. And
Cool. Get you running with the crowd. The next person I want to jump to is Brian. Brian, you've been kind of running in. You were just with Sword and Anagram. Do you think you got pulled into the hive mind as well? Were you connected to the hive mind, or do you think that you don't know what's going on?
I think he might not know what's going on. I'm not sure. That might be a question for Gil.
The hive mind only works with people I can make contact with, so I think Brian would be not be in the hive mind.
Sword and Anagram, who a moment ago were like mind controlled and like fighting you, who got you like hooked on the wall. Let's say like 10, 15 seconds later, after they get you hooked on the wall, comes sprinting past you at full speed, running towards the exit. Behind them, you can hear the footsteps of like a crowd approaching you. What do you do?
Okay, well, are they running at me or in my direction?
They're running in your direction. It seems like they're heading towards an exit, and yours is the closest one.
I'm wondering if there's like another hall I can try and throw this grapple hook down to sort of pull myself somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably unhook the grapple hook, or if you want to, you could like dive down a side hallway there. There's a bunch near you, so you can dive down whichever hallway you'd like.
I'm gonna dash down whatever direction is not them.
Fantastic. So you dive down just as the first wave of people comes running past you. I think the first wave of people is Glacier, Outlet, and Boost, and then followed quickly behind are the rest of the heroes. This also includes taking up the rear, your friends who you were fighting with earlier. They come running past you.
Is there like any clear sign of danger of like the place falling down?
No, I don't think so. I think some of the lights may have gone out, but nothing is like flashing red. There's no like angry stuff. It's just everyone is running past you.
Then I don't see why I wouldn't run with them.
Cool. Max, you are running with the crowd, and all of a sudden, Brian steps into the crowd next to you and is running with you. On one side, Brian has just stepped in, and on the other, Lynx is running next to you. And Lynx is like, "What the hell were you kids doing here? Didn't we tell everyone not to get involved?"
As Max is running, his eyes are just kind of staring at Brian, like kind of light up with recognition. He glances over his shoulder at Lynx as he's running and says, "Shut up, we don't have time for this. Aren't you my neighbor?" Turning back to Brian.
And I am staring her down saying, I'm pretty sure that's not what we heard 30 minutes ago, or whenever it was, shortly after the rust-colored gas started appearing.
I think from the front of the crowd, Glacier's like, "Yeah, Saber didn't put that call out. Someone else did." Glacier yells, "Duck." And the same like spinning razor arms, the like drill arms, comes crashing through the open doorway towards you as one of the Astron mounts is like on the exterior exit of the ship, kind of like holding all of you back. Brian, you're far enough back that you probably don't have to duck, so I'm going to say you get the first chance to do something. What do you do to help take down this mount?
Would we be able to like retcon in a panel like right when Glacier says that was somebody else of like Max and Amber like locking eyes like oops.
I like that.
Please do.
He's drilling through the wall?
Yeah, it's like the drill's coming through the open doorway. So
Okay, well,
and then the drill comes through.
Well, it just so happens that I fashioned those items that I brought with me into a giant hammer. Smack it.
Perfect. Tell me what that looks like. Just like walk me through the panels.
I just pull something out and quickly swing around, and it looks like some sort of cannon, and I point it at the thing, but then some huge piston comes out instead and slams the drill back through the hole.
Perfect. We get a panel of the mount, its hand getting, or its arm getting like shoved backwards, and we see it like knocked off balance, kind of stumbling backwards. I think Blue Samurai, you're pretty close to the front of the group right now. I think you and Machina are pretty close to the front. You, Machina, and Ryder. So Blue Samurai, you have a chance to either get through the door or like push the thing even further. What do you want to do? It's now on like 2 of its 6 legs rather than the like normal 4 of its 6 legs. So if you were to like attack it now, you could probably knock it off the ship.
Cool, that actually sounds awesome. So it would show, I don't know how to describe leading up to it, but the panel would show Blue Samurai teleporting between each leg and then cutting off a leg, and then going to another leg, cutting off a leg, teleport leg. Cool, like.
Perfect. Machina, you're up near the front. How do you help with this moment?
I think once he cuts off the last leg, I'm just gonna like sprint forward and just give it the shove.
Perfect. So you're standing over Blue Samurai's like shoulders as he slices off the last leg, and then you just push it. Tell me what that looks like as it like gets knocked off the ship.
I think we see it teeter and then start falling, and then we're gonna see Amber like quickly back up a few paces. Like, okay, that's way too close to the edge.
It starts to fall. We get a panel from underneath, like a bottom-up shot. It falling backwards, and it takes up the same amount of space on each panel, but the ship gets further and further away. And then we cut up to the group. We cut up specifically to Ryder, who's standing at the top, like in front of the group, flanked by Lighthammer and Faye. And we get a panel of like the whole group, and in the background, you can see the other Astron spaceships just plummeting. They're all on the same trajectory down. This one also is falling. Ryder, what do you do?
Can we still see Carl doing his thing from this side?
I think we've run past most of Carl, but we've probably seen a few like Carl bugs in the hallways. So there's probably still some like floating out in the area. The like Carl bugs on fire.
Hey, Blue, is there any way you could port us to the ground?
I'm just going to give him a thumbs up, and then I'll just cut open a portal and have everybody go in front of me, I guess.
Awesome. So you cut open the portal. You can barely see the ground from where you are. Like you can see it through like a hole in the cloud, but you can in fact see the ground from here. I think we do get a panel of like it's straining you to like hold it open.
Mm-hmm.
What Ryder wants to do at that moment in time is you're going to see a panel of him standing beside Blue, where Blue's struggling to hold the portal open, and he's going to put his hand, and you're going to see energy begin to transfer from Ryder through his hand into Blue to help stabilize the portal and keep it open.
I love that, and I think we get a moment where like a couple of the Saber agents like look over at you and kind of like nod, and then I think the first person to go through is probably Lighthammer. And I think like Lighthammer like steps backwards through it and like blows you a kiss as he steps through the portal. And then I think it's just kind of like a swarm of people following. Max, where do you think you fit into the order? Are you like second? Are you like last? Second to last? Where are you?
Wherever Machina is at this point.
Machina, what's your plan?
I'm going through.
Cool. Machina and Max, you all step through. I think Lynx and Outlet and Boost and Glacier are all right behind you. I think as you land, the 4 of them immediately start like berating you for getting involved. We jump back to Ryder. Ryder, it's just you and Blue Samurai left on the ship, and Sword and Anagram have just stepped through. Ryder, what do you want to do?
Ryder looks at Samurai and goes, all right, I've got this from here. And he actually just pushes Samurai through the portal, through his own portal.
As he's pushing me, I'm going to grab his arm and do like a roll and just kick him through.
Beautiful. Okay.
And so, Blue Samurai, you are the last person on the ship. What do you do?
And then I would like to, I would like to imagine that all of the strain, the portal just closes. And how close are we to the ground?
Not very. You're probably like you're closer than a falling ship should be, but it's still probably got about like 10 seconds left of falling before it hits the ground.
Okay, so I would like to see a panel of a Blue Samurai just trying to open a portal, trying and trying and trying, and then it should cut to somebody else.
Okay, so I want it to cut to Ryder on the ground. He comes through the portal closes behind him, and he looks up at the ship and goes, damn it! Pulls out his sword and says, Lighthammer, want to help? And he wants to do the biggest Ryder slash he can think of at the ship, because we're pretty much underneath it, and he wants to basically slice it in half from here, destroying it to prevent any more damage. which is what I was going to do. I was going to jump off the ship and do that, but sure, we'll do it from the ground.
I think Lighthammer's there. I think Faye is there. And I think, honestly, a lot of the heroes are there.
Let's
Any of
all
the
do this.
Any of the heroes who are there who can help, how do you want to help, like, destroy the ship so it doesn't land on the heart of the city and destroy it? Faye's going to, like, put her hand up and, like, Reality Storm and just send, like, the shards of glass that she has, like, through the ship, like, slicing chunks of it off. I think Lighthammer is going to step up and do that same. He's got his, like, breaking the sound barrier energy blast he can do that he's going to do with the, like, Rider Slash. Anyone else want to jump in and help with this?
Yeah, I think we get like Anagram standing on a car, and we get like a bit of her future vision seeing these scattered pieces flying off and just pointing out where they're going to like direct attacks to blow them up before they hit the ground.
Ooh, I love that. The sword is going to be leaping into the air as Anagram points, and is going to be like slashing pieces off and like cutting pieces as Anagram tells him where to go.
It might be funny just to have like everybody fighting in the background and looking super badass, and Machina and Rascal King are still getting chewed out by Saber.
Yeah, actually, can we cut into that? I have something I want to say to Lynx.
Yeah, so let's cut back in as Lynx is like, the one thing we told you all to do is not get involved with getting Queen Bee. And what did you all do? You all got involved. And look what happened.
Max has a very like gritted teeth, and then looks at Lynx and just kind of snaps and just goes, shut up, not today. You know what? Alan's dead. Don't you talk to me. I'm done with you. And just walks away from her.
I think you say Alan's dead, and we get a panel of her eyes like widening. I don't think she knew that. I don't think Glacier told anyone that Alan had died. And so we get the panel of Boost, Outlet, and Lynx all being really surprised. And then you turn and walk away.
Yeah, and I want to expend my influence over Lynx to give her guilty.
She's got guilty.
And Machina's absolutely like going with him. And I think like she puts her arm around Max, like comforting.
And then all of a sudden we get a panel of the two of them walking away. And then the sky is just filled with flame and explosions and like pieces of alien spaceship just crashing to the ground. I think we get a panel.
I was going to say, I do want a massive panel of all the heroes firing their beams and slashes at the various equipment. So you'd see like multiple rider slashes in the air taking out things. You see Faye's glass shards taking out things. Anagram is kind of directing to take out things as they fall.
We've got Boost and Outlet like launching their respective powers. Glacier launching her respective powers.
Can I make a suggestion for Sword? I think one of Sword's arms is just a straight up rocket launcher right now.
Perfect. I love it.
We see the panel of everyone, like the ship exploding, and this like big full 2-page spread of you all just blowing up the ship parts as they land around you. And then I think we get that same panel, but pulled back a little bit further, and we see someone standing in like the corner, and that figure is...
I'm gonna just walk up and tap. Who's paying the most attention to the exploding ships?
I think it's Ryder.
I'm gonna walk up and tap Ryder and be like, man, I'd hate to be up there.
I'm glad you're okay. And
I'm just gonna give a big old thumbs up and then open a portal underneath me and vanish again.
And I think we see you land like not like kind of in front of Max and Amber. I don't think you intended to intercept them, but that's where you landed. And we get the panel of the three of you just like standing together.
I think we get a panel where like Max and Machina like look at each other, like meet eyes.
Yeah.
And then like Max looks at Al and goes, hey, you want to join the Cataclysm crew?
I'm just gonna look at him and then just say, hell yeah.
Cool.
Also, I don't think we actually introduced ourselves. I'm Machina.
Blue Samurai, and I'm gonna stick my hand out just like really awkwardly, like right at her.
Amber's going to take his hand and kind of lean forward a bit and be like, hey, Al.
I would like to just see a panel of like Al's face, like eyes really wide, like, and then just scratches the back of his head and says, hey, Amber.
I think Max pulls off his mask as well. Like, I think we've met before. You look familiar.
Yeah, we have math together.
We see Squire kind of like dart between your all's legs as the three of you to start walking off away from the group. And then I think we cut back over to the group of everyone standing together. And then...
So the ship is exploding in the sky at this point. There's pieces flying everywhere. There's still one like major big piece in the sky, and it's on fire, and suddenly it explodes in a giant explosion. And at this point, Faye and Felix suddenly hear a voice in their head that goes, I'm sorry, guys. I don't think I can hold on. And then as the explosion goes out, they can see a faint, familiar smile in the explosion. And then Faye suddenly feels that little part that's always in the back of her head where Carl always is, since he allowed her into the hive mind. And that little nagging feeling at the back of her head disappears. And it starts raining debris everywhere at this point. And then there's the big piece that exploded last. Whatever remains of it crashes in front of them into a giant crater. And everything goes really quiet.
Faye immediately starts lifting pieces, levitating pieces with her mind, and being like, Carl, and just throwing pieces into the air and looking for you.
There's a pile of rubble in the background, and suddenly there's a hint of movement, and you see rocks falling down, and both Felix and Faye look over, and from the rubble steps this blue man-like figure, but it's glowing blue, and it's a bit see-through, and the figure walks to them, and as it walks to them, their first reaction is to be on guard. But then suddenly they hear a really familiar voice that goes, "Hi guys, did I do good?"
You did good, Carl. You did good.
Faye is going to run and hug Carl. Is Carl's new body corporeal, or does she go to hug you and just go right through you?
No, it's corporeal.
Cool. She gives you a giant hug.
I think when Ryder said you did good, his helmet dematerializes and he looks at Carl and he's got his eyes are welling up and he's like, "You did good. You did good, Carl. You did good."
So at this point, the head of the figure is completely blank. There's no real face there, and the voice was almost like it comes from your head. But then suddenly on the head appears this huge big grin that you guys recognize, and Carl walks over and hugs the both of you.
We get a panel of the three of them hugging, and then we get a panel pulled back slightly with Lighthammer standing there, and Lighthammer clears his throat, and he's like, "Hey, team, you did great there." He goes over and he taps Felix on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, can we talk for a sec?" I think we're gonna get a panel of the two of them walking away to talk, and then Faye and Carl are gonna be standing there. When Faye pulls away from the hug, her eyes are brimming with tears, and she looks at Carl and she's like, "I don't know what happened there, but you really scared me." And she starts getting choked up and pulls back to the sob, and she's like, "I thought I lost someone else, and I just can't have that right now. I'm sorry." And she takes your hand and she's like, I really need a minute. I need some space. I'm sorry." And then I think she turns and just starts quickly walking away.
Carl's gonna run after her and grab her from behind and say, "Please don't go. I think I just lost Carl."
And she looks at you and she's like, "What do you mean you lost Carl?"
"I'm not sure who I am anymore. It's very confusing."
She looks at you, and I think we get a moment of her just looking at you, and I think we get a panel of the two of you kissing. And I think we get close up of the two of you kissing, and then she steps back. And as she steps back, we see that the air behind her is shattered glass, and she just steps through it and disappears. And as she disappears, she says, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." And then she's gone.
There's tears rolling out of Carl's eyes.
I think the next thing that happens is we jump over to Sword and Anagram. Anagram, what do you do?
Anagram is still looking up the sky, just making sure there's no more major debris that's going to be dangerous. And I think she looks out over everyone, and we see that maroon color of the doomed future tracks leading off towards the way Cataclysm group just walked. And I'd like to push myself to remember the version of someone that exists in the future.
Cool. Go ahead and roll that move for me.
Okay. On a hit, you connect who they are now to who they are in the future. Choose the role that they will fulfill in the future, and the GM will tell you about their future self. We see a bunch of, the blues and the maroons, and then it starts to kind of fade into a single path. We very clearly see the form of Machina, a maroon after image of Machina as she was walking away.
Oh, damn.
I'm actually going to give you a choice on this one, Do you want to be the martyr or the corruptor?
Oh my god. I don't even know.
I think the corruptor sounds cooler.
I think that is what I'm leaning towards. I don't think she would want to be a martyr after Alan.
Yeah. And
Like,
I think,
maybe she could have gone that way before Alan, but after he just pulled that shit, nope.
yeah,
Nope, she can't go the martyr way at all.
that feels right. And I think we get this very, very stern look on Anagram's face, and she looks up, turns to Sword, and says, "Oh, we're gonna have to watch that one."
Yes.
We get a panel of the two of them watching the new Cataclysm crew walking away. And then Glacier comes over and puts her hand on Anagram's shoulder.
Anagram visibly recoils a little bit and then forces herself to be calm.
And I think Glacier's like, they did it. They did a good job today. And I think she has more to say, but then she stops herself, and I think she's like, all right, I've got some finishing up to do here, but if everyone can head back to Saber, I think we've got some damage control to do. With that, watch the Saber operatives walk away. I think we see Sword and Anagram and Lighthammer and Ryder and Carl standing alone.
Do want a panel of Lighthammer and where it flips back over to Lighthammer and Ryder, and it's understood that they talked. Not sure what they said, but they're both hugging, and that's all you see is just them hugging.
Perfect. And then Lighthammer and Ryder walk up to Carl and put their hands on his shoulder. And I think we get the moment of the three of them. Brian, where are you? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So I think we get the moment of the two of them comforting Carl, and then we get a panel pulled back, and you're standing there.
Carl is feeling really sad, so he's looking around, and suddenly he notices Brian standing there, and he's acting really awkward because he's all there by himself. And so Carl will walk over and hand them a jar of mayonnaise.
He'll take it and look up at say, "I don't believe we've met."
Hello, my name's Carl. I think I'm not quite sure
That
right
sounds
now.
familiar.
I think we met.
I'm gonna walk around. Is anyone Ryder's there, right?
Yeah, Ryder and Lighthammer. Ryder, you put your hand in your pocket and feel the familiar shape of the probability coin.
Yeah, I pull it out of my pocket and kind of flip it through my fingers and go, when did this get here?
Brian would definitely recognize the metal.
But we see the coin come out, and we see Ryder flip the coin through his hands and say out loud, when did this get here? I think we see the moment of recognition on Brian's face. And then I don't think we get more of that scene. I think we just get the four of you standing together quietly. And then we're gonna jump over to Cataclysm Crew.
Can I have some set dressing on this as we're walking away? Just because it feels right for Cataclysm Crew. There's still just small bits on fire slamming down to the ground around us, and we're just completely ignoring them.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
That's totally on brand for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my hand on both of you guys, just like the older brother kind of bullshit.
I think Machina is going to turn to Blue Samurai and be like, "Hey, Porter Boy, can you get us back to that shopping center from earlier? Max, we got to go get your bike. We can't leave that."
Oh, yeah. No, that'll probably come back to bite me.
As soon as they are done talking, the portal's gonna just open underneath us. And then I would like to see a panel of just all three of us falling through the sky so that I can actually see where the shopping mall is. We're very high up in the sky. And then as we're falling, just another portal will appear under us, and then we're just walking in front of the shopping mall.
I
Could
think
we
while
land
they're
right
in the
by-
air, falling, Machina's just clinging to Max, nope.
Can we land just right on the bike? It's got a sidecar. I think all three of us can fit.
Yes, Alice in the sidecar.
I think we see in the portal the bike underneath you, but we don't see you land. I think the next thing we see is Glacier walking with Lynx. And Glacier looks down and her phone is lit up with notifications, and she's like, "Hey Lynx, I think something else happened." And there's just notification after notification that there were a series of major break-ins all across the city. And we get the two of them looking up at each other. And then as they are looking up, we get a panel of the three of you on the bike flying past them.
I'm into that.
I love that so much.
We then get the letters to the editor. We then get all the artist credit pages. And then we jump to...
So our last couple panels are a large piece of wreckage of the Astron ship, and then a panel of that closer, and we see a glint of metal, and then a panel even closer, and it's the like amulet, a bit burnt and like blackened from the fire, and then we see a metal hand reach out and pick it up, and we hear, "Oh, hello, old friend." Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at IcyNewYear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TPHuth94 on Instagram. This issue was GM'd by T Huth. Asimov is played by EXPHP. You probably won't find him at It's EXPHP on Twitter, but it's worth a try. Blue Samurai is played by William Hendry. You can find him on Twitter at RockoutWill321 or on Steam as Cypress_Grunham. Carl is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him on Twitter as @Gilberecki. Machina is played by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at Elliot Yelin on Instagram. Rascal King is played by me, Anthony Sheets. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at The Versian on Twitter and as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. The music for this issue is Curse of the Scarab by Kevin MacLeod. The license and a link to his website can be found in the show notes. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes and recommending it to friends. Word of mouth is really the best way for us to bring these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out on patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus episodes each month. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.